Hello, lost and found. Welcome to Wednesday's Word. Today I'm going to talk about how obedience breeds blessings and how it led me to my promise. And the promise I'm referring to today is my marriage. This is not the testimony. The testimony I'm going to do with my husband next week. We're just holding off. We just closed on our new home, so we're going to wait until we get settled in and then do it there. But today I just really felt oppressed upon to talk about how the obedience led me to the blessing of my promise. So I'm kind of just going to illustrate it through how my story went. So for those of you who've been following me know that last year, December 2018 actually, I was, the Lord asked me to do a year in the trenches, and that entailed me packing up my daughter and I and traveling from Chattanooga, Tennessee, across the country. We went straight across the country. We ended up in San Diego. We did a stint in Florida. We just really were obedient to the Lord and followed Him where He left us, or where He led us, rather. And I just want to talk about how each step of the journey required a yes from me to get to the destination. So I met my husband in Wichita, and when I was, in my mind, he says in Proverbs, we plan our way and He directs our steps. So I was planning on, what places I was going to travel through, and I had decided I was going to do Little Rock to Kansas City to Wichita. Now I was still in Arkansas. I was, booking my tickets and planning out the trip, and I was like, you know what? I don't even need to go to Wichita because I'm going to be in Kansas City, Missouri. I'll hit Kansas. I'll just take a 30-minute bus ride and we'll hit Kansas City, Kansas. And God was stirring me that night. It was that night I was planning, and He wouldn't let me sleep. And I felt a huge inclination not to skip Wichita. Now, had I not listened to that inkling, I would have missed the place that my husband was. So those little promptings of Holy Spirit, do not ignore them, because those could be the key to your destiny. And so that's an example of the Lord speaking directly to our hearts that, we should not deny. But also the everyday obedience. The trip was really difficult for me. I had very little money, and at points in the trip, He was just separating me from many different people and many different beliefs and things, and doing a big, huge cleansing in my life and teaching me and putting me in rough areas to shine my light, and it was taxing. Had I not been obedient to be in the Word every day, had I not been obedient to worship the Lord, had I not been obedient to even come on to Lost and Found and share and encourage, any one of those things, if I had not been obedient to, I don't think I would have made it to the destination, because without those things, we lose hope. Because, God is hope, and His Word is the renewing of our minds. So we can walk this walk, and we can do it with confidence. And the worship that it just opens up, and it not only opens up a gateway to hear from God, but it also is a spiritual discipline that it fights battles in the unseen that we don't even know that are going on. Had I not used my heavenly prayer language, the warfare that I encountered could have been triple, quadruple. Because the weapons formed, but they did not prosper, because I was obedient to my spiritual walk and to what God asks us to do. He just has impressed upon me so many times the importance of obedience, and He's broke it down into, these little words for me that have helped me. He says, partial obedience, partial blessings. Delayed obedience, delayed blessings. So the sooner we can learn to hear, know, recognize, and do, the quicker then He can get the blessings to you. We don't have to understand. When I was leaving for the year in the trenches that ended up actually being like 19 months, and that was probably somewhere along the line, delayed obedience, either on my part or my husband's part. But had I not gone, I mean, I was scared. I was crying before I left. I'm like, "Are you sure, God?" I mean, it was really scary. But I did it afraid. And had I really tried to analyze it and not take heed to the Proverbs, lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. Proverbs 3:5 and 6. Had I just leaned on my own understanding, it wouldn't have made any sense. I wouldn't have gone, and I would have missed one of the greatest blessings of my life that God had on the other side. He has a purpose in everything He asks us to do, in the little and in the big. So if He says it, do it. The quicker, the better. But I want to also encourage you, He will meet you where you are. He will meet you where you are, and He will help you to get you where He wants to get you. There's nothing that you can do that's going to block or break your blessing, even if the obedience is delayed. But it does require obedience either way. I just hope that this really does encourage you, that when we listen to God, when we say yes, when we obey, our blessings are waiting for us, just like Ruth with Boaz, and just like me with mine. It'll be the same for you. And it doesn't necessarily mean a marriage. It's whatever promise that God has for you waiting on the other side. It's one yes away. Be blessed. I love you all. I'm happy to come on next week and do our testimony from our new place, and even tell you maybe more about the story of that place and how obedience to God, again, helped us to be there, and then to see what God's going to do in that process as well. All right, I'll see you next week. Be blessed.